Excited to be able to talk with you guys and talk a little ball and in a little bit non-traditional format today. What I'm going to start off talking about is kickoff return in a terminology that I think, or a term in a couple drills that I think apply to everybody, regardless of the level of football that you're at. NFL all the way down to really junior high football. I know we've got a lot of different coaches, a lot of different levels being covered here today. First thing is on KOR. Okay, so we're talking kickoff return. And the word that I'm going to talk about right now is called the string, okay? And the string, a good way, and this is kind of a football 101 term, and what I mean by that is this term carries over into a lot of different sides of the football, okay? But basically what the string is a ball, me, man relationship, okay? And basically here on a kickoff return, to simplify it, if the defender is running down the field on a kickoff, and we've got the football right here, getting on the string is the direct line from the returner, to the defender, so drawing a straight line, that is a string. So if you're the blocker, you want to make sure that you're on the string so you have leverage with a ball, me, man relationship. So there's the ball, we would want to get you on the string, that's the me, and then there's obviously the man, So getting on the string is critical on KOR, making sure that you have leverage, If you don't have leverage, you have to get leverage, So I'm going to talk about this in detail, and like I said, this term is going to carry over. Really, it could be an offensive tackle getting on the string in between a defensive end and a quarterback. It could be a shield on pump protection, getting on the string in between the pump pressure guy and the actual launch point of the punt. So this term, the string, is going to be used in a lot of different ways. So first off, let's just talk about, give a look here on a kickoff unit. So I'm going to go ahead just for simplicity and number these guys, all the way to 10. We'll just go ahead and call it a 55 kickoff, one starting on the right here. And let's say that they're going to go a deep left kick. So they're kicking the football this direction down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw up. There's obviously a lot of different kick return formations that people use. I'm going to go ahead and draw up this one right here with an off returner, and a primary returner down here. I don't necessarily have these to scale, but the biggest thing, and just for simplicity, these guys are going to go ahead and run vertical lanes here. This is how we teach this. Now there's a whole lot of ifs and thens. I'll get into those here in a second. But getting on the string, the first thing, the key to getting on the string is establishing the snap key. And what is the snap key? Well, that is the point at where the football is caught. Because that sets the string. So wherever the primary returner is, so let's say the football's kicked right here. He's got to run over. He catches the ball right down here at the bottom. So that red dot is where the ball is caught. So at that point, you can draw a straight line from each one of these guys, assuming that they're all hot to the ball, which obviously is not the case. But for the sake of explaining this, I've got strings, straight down to all of that red dot. So for instance, if you are the right tackle right here, and your job is to, let's just say your job is to block the two, right here. Well, you would want to settle back, and make sure that you are on the string, to that man. You want to have a ball-me-man relationship. And like I said, you can use this term in a lot of different areas of football. Let's say that the right center right here, he's responsible for the 4 in this situation I'm drawing up. So we've got a string right there. He's got to go get on the string, and so on and so forth. Let's say that we want our left tackle here to block the 8. Well, you got a straight line from the 8. The left tackle has got to this guy's got to be able to run. He's got to retreat back, which we call sink and absorb. I'll get into that in a second. And he's got to get on the string. So this is the first step. It's extremely critical that the people on KOR understand ball-me-man relationship. If they don't have leverage, they need to get leverage. And we talk about leverage equals advantage. So on and so forth. That is a basically an example about getting on the string. So how do we drill this? Okay, we're going to drill it as a half line string drill. Okay, so what we do here is we're going to, just for rep's sake, okay, and I'm going to explain this to you in a way so you can see how we actually rotate and what have you to make it applicable to your situation. Okay, is we're very simple. We're just going to basically have 3 lines on each side. Okay, so this works with the right tackle, this works with the right guard line, and this works with the right center line. Okay, then this one here, okay, this works with the left center, which is right here. Okay, in this case, or you could call it the field center. Okay, that's going to be the left guard in this case, and this is the left tackle. Okay, so that is how they're going to rotate. Okay, these guys work it. Okay, they come down, they're going to get on the string, but they're going to rotate through with their line. The guard, this is their line, their line, their line, their line, and their line. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we call it half line, so we split it right down the middle. And I will say right side is up first. And I'll say that this is going to be an alley right return. Okay, so I'll actually have the primary returner back here. Okay, so he's down here at the bottom. I will have the right end. Okay, so there's the right end. And I will have the hammer. Okay, so the hammer's right here. He's the middle of the 3 upbacks back here. And the left end won't actually go with the front side. So you can do it however you want, but this is just how I've drilled it in the past. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do here, and coming off the sideline, these guys will have their lines right here. Okay, so they've got guys loading off the sideline right here, basically replicating 1 and 2 running down. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll say, okay, front side is up first. We're not kicking a football here. We're not giving the kicker an opportunity to kill the drill. Okay, so I'll have a coach standing back here, and he will have a disc cone, and he will throw that disc cone when we replicate a kicker coming through, just for timing purposes. We'll just swing our leg. When that leg swings, okay, that coach is going to throw that disc cone, and if that disc cone, okay, could land, let's say, right here. So this returner, the primary returner, he is going to run over, okay? He's going to run over, get behind the ball, and simulate that he is catching the kickoff. So he'll run over, get behind it. He will catch the football downhill, okay? And one thing I failed to mention is the coach is going to stand here and count to 4 in his head. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. At that time, he will make the go call. Okay, he will make the go call, okay, which will get our right end and our hammer, okay, getting on their path, okay, and so that's how we start the drill, by simulating the kick right there, okay. We can throw this cone wherever we want, okay. Now, when that ball is in the air, let's talk about what all these guys are doing. For simplicity, these are all single blocks, but you can obviously work double teams if you want, okay, and we're just working about getting on the string, okay. This guy here is coming down. He's working down to get on the string. He's working down to get on the string. Okay, so they're meeting their guys, and they're trying to maintain return side leverage. Stay as square as you can, as long as you can. Don't turn your backside to the sideline, even though we know we're trying to get hat placement on the outside, because we're wanting this football. Okay, we're wanting to bring this football back into the alley on the right. But we're going to stay as square as we can, as long as we can. Okay, and once contact is made, we're going to strike and restart our feet and get vertical. So this is what we call settle and strike if you're on the front side. Okay, so you're settling, strike, restart your feet, maintain return side leverage. Settle, strike, restart your feet, maintain return side leverage. Settle, strike, restart your feet, maintain return side leverage. At the same time, my right end is going to come back here, okay, and set up over the football, okay, right inside. This guy is going to shuffle over. Guys, whatever your scheme is, make this work. There's a lot of different things you can do with these guys back here. Bottom line is they can't travel together within 2 yards shoulder to shoulder due to the new wedge rule, okay? And we are going to work, whoever you're, let's just say that the hammer, he's supposed to go to the first or the widest, okay, or first down. So he's going to come down, and we're sending these guys off the sideline. Okay, and then whatever rules you use on how you sort this, okay, you're working this in with a good hat placement inside out, okay, with a good kick. This returner is going to press the hip, okay, press the hip, okay, and stick it right back up inside and get to the alley, okay? So that is really focusing on the front side of KOR. Settle and strike up here is the technique, working the kick out blocks back here, okay, but forcing them to get on the string. We do this drill about 3/4 speed, okay, and then these guys just rotate out with this group, okay, and these guys rotate with each one of their lines. They do not move from line to line to line. They just keep rotating through. The blocker, okay, comes down here. The guy that just ran down becomes the blocker. While they're rotating in between reps, that's when I have the backside go. Okay, so now the backside goes on the other half line string drill here. Okay, the back line, once again, they're still going to have a primary returner, so we'll load up another returner here. Okay, he'll step up. We'll do the exact same thing. We'll throw the cone. That simulates where the football is being caught. Okay, this time I'll have the off returner. Okay, so he's going to come over. He'll give the go call after a 4 count. The coach will count in his head and then point to him, and he yells, go, 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 go. Okay, we will also have the left end involved in this one. Okay, so he'll track over. Okay, and once again, whatever your scheme is, make it applicable. Okay, so we're doing the same thing here. He's traveling over. He's going to work a kick block. He's going to come over and give a go call and stay inside. Do not get in front of the returner. Okay, you're going to stay inside about 2 to 3 yards. And I like to say this forms a triangle. So the first kick out block guy is there. The primary returner is here. And the off returner is here. You ought to have a nice little triangle right there, okay, to ensure that this guy stays inside. So when this is kicked, he stays inside, and whatever your scheme is, I'm just going to use an MDM mentality, a most dangerous man mentality for backside leakage. He's going to scrape, okay, and trim the fat off the backside here, and anything, okay, that would be leaking over the top, and you can send a guy down here, okay, and leak him over the top, or send a guy down here and bring him back here, okay? So we'll give that off returner work, okay? He's always gonna, once he says go, 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 he will start his vision, okay, back here first, okay? And if there's anybody scraping paint off the backside that can tackle him, he would need to block him. If he can tackle him, he can sure tackle him. If there's not, he's gonna keep traveling with his eyes inside. Okay, and that's when we would send a leakage person down, okay? But let me get back to all these other guys, okay, on the backside here, because this to me is very critical on returns. Is when you lose on the backside of a boundary or alley return, I think that's when you get in trouble. So let's just say that ball is kicked right here. We threw the disc cone down. He gets behind it, okay, and our primary returner is running right here. Well, these guys coming down, okay, they're not going to just run straight. They're going to chase the ball. So we're going to sink, okay, sink and get on the string, very important, okay, and we're going to absorb, okay, and why is that different than the front side? Because we are okay giving ground on this, okay, cutting them off. We cannot allow our face to get crossed, but we have to stay as square as we can, as long as we can, because if we turn and we turn our shoulders that way, you're going to simply get your face crossed, and they're going to backdoor, okay, that block, which kills these returns. So we want to stay as square as we can, much like a cover 4 safety, weaving to maintain inside leverage, okay, maintaining inside leverage on a slot receiver, trying to stem him inside. Same thing here. Get on the string, stay as square as you can, and just keep sinking. And then at some point, you're going to have to make the decision when you're sinking to open your hip and run him by, or if he tries to cross your face, to restart your feet and try to get your inside or back wrist through. Okay, that is critical on this. Okay, so as you're continuing to sink and this guy's running down, if he tries to cross your face, restart your feet, and in this case, it would be his left wrist. Okay, so it would be, he'd be sinking, the guy tries to cross his face this way. Okay, we want to fight to get our left wrist through his face and make him go behind us, because if you allow him to cross your face, he's got a beeline to the return. Okay, so that's critical. Getting on the string, stay as square as you can, as long as you can. This guy would do the same thing. Okay, this guy's there. He's got to go get on the string. Okay, sink and absorb. Stay as square as you can, as long as you can. Once he passes your hip or he's already committed, open your hip and run him by. And then we like to say that becomes water off a roof. Just push him on by. Okay. If he tries to cross your face, restart your feet and get your left wrist through. Same thing here with the tackle. He's got to get on the string. Okay. And everything I just said applies. Okay. So that's really critical. One other thing that I want to touch on is, let's say that maybe the kick is a short kick. Okay, so let's say we're wanting to go here and we think we're on the string, but for whatever reason, this guy, okay, starts to really flatten off. So we anticipated the string being here, but maybe he just hit it faster or whatever. Okay, he starts to do that. You have to do what we call reel up the slack. Okay, so we're going to reel up the slack, okay, right there. Okay, so right here, we got to now get on the string. You got to go make a beeline, okay, and reel up the slack, because there is slack, okay, so to speak, in that string right now. Okay, so you got to go get on it. So that's really important on the backside of that string drill. Okay, we work it to the front and to the right and to the left. But the biggest thing to think about is settle and strike on the front side, settle and restart your feet, stay as square as you can, as long as you can, maintain return side leverage with your hat. And on the back side, okay, sink and absorb, okay, sink and absorb, okay. But once again, you got to continue to maintain return side leverage on that as well. And then I'm going to show you two drills that we do that are highly competitive physical drills to work settle and strike, sink and absorb. And then at the end of that, I'm going to open it up and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, so this first one is called strike zone. Okay, strike zone is working the front side of kickoff return. Okay, and remember, the left guys or the field side, you know, people run returns to the boundary and to the field. So players on the right and the left both have to be able to settle and strike. All right, so what we're going to do on the strike zone drill is we're going to have a box right here, okay? And then I've got my kickoff guy right here. I've got my KOR guy, okay, right here on a cone offset. So I got a cone there, okay, and I got a cone here. And there is 5 yards, okay? That is a 5-yard spacing right there from here to here. And he is offset just slightly to make it realistic, because I want him to have to get on the string. Okay, but he is in a good speed stance, okay, and he is belt buckle the ball. The KOR guy is belt buckle the ball. So I've actually got him in like a KOR stance, okay? So his feet would be like this looking at this man, and he is in the speed stance. So he's speeder square, and he's got a stagger, okay? And then we've got these cones right here, okay? And then I've got a ball carrier, okay, standing back here. So there's my ball carrier, okay? And this is basically how we do this. When I hit the whistle, okay, these guys both take off. When he gets to the top of the box, the entrance part of the box right there, he is going to flip his hips and start to settle, okay? Because remember, we're working settle and strike. This guy, when I hit my whistle, is sprinting as fast as he can, okay? And now we have told this return guy, okay, simply right or left where the return's going. So when he turns around, he can work. Now he's staying square, but he's working to maintain return side leverage. This ball carrier, okay, he is 15 yards, okay, 15 yards behind this cone. So it's 15 yards from here to where he's standing. And you have to put a coach back here, okay, standing right there, holding him, okay, and then he'll say go, and he'll tell this guy when to take off. That's critical, because if not, he'll screw the timing up of the drill. And he is simply going to run. He saw the signal that the coach running the drill, obviously this guy didn't see it. So the coach running the drill stands here with his whistle, and he will tell this guy return right or left, and this guy sees it as well. Okay, so he knows whether he needs to break this way or this way. We don't give him multiple cuts. Okay, it's not a deal like that. But he's turning, he's flipping his hips, he's going to settle, okay, and strike. And when we do that, okay, as he's coming through, okay, and he settles, and he's got a good power base about himself. His feet are nice and wide. His hips are back. He's going to continue retreating for about 2 to 3 yards, settle his feet, tight hands and tight elbows, okay, absorb a little bit of the collision of the kickoff man, okay, and then he is going to restart his feet and try to keep his head on the proper side to maintain return side leverage. Okay, a couple things that are critical on this. This is not just a face mask busting drill. The guy running down, okay, this is down in the strike zone, okay, so we're going to go ahead and use a two-gap technique, okay, so basically like a shock and shed, okay, so we're going to, if we're running down on kickoff, we're going to use our hands, separate, okay, and we're going to teach, so it's a kickoff drill as well, okay, two-gap here, boom, shed and get off of it, okay, continuing to be violent with your hands and gain ground because you still have a decent amount of time and space. But this guy's going to restart his feet, okay, and this is a one-cut drill. It is a clear winner and a loser on this drill, but do not allow them to duck their head. Do not allow them to just bury their face on the guy. There should be a lot of contact with the hands and the punch, okay, on the strike zone drill. Now, after doing it with 15 yards here, okay, in between here and here, because this allows the guy running down on kickoff to continue gaining ground because he's two-gapping and he has time and space. What I'll do now is I'll shorten this and put the ball carrier at 7.5 yards. Okay, so now the ball carrier is standing right here. What this does is it gives the kickoff guy a little bit of a feel, hey, I don't have a ton of time and space, so I can't be as aggressive on my two-gap once I make contact. I've got to transition to a base. Okay, and when I separate, I'm going to have to probably go sideways because this guy is getting up on the blocker pretty quick. Okay, so it just gives him the feel of if you have more time and space, you can continue to gain ground on your two gap if you're running down on kickoff. If you don't have as much time and space between the blocker and the ball carrier, you have to transition to power, okay, get a good base and shed and separate with a snag release a little bit quicker. Okay, so that's a really good drill called the strike zone drill. Okay, and like I said, it's highly competitive, you know, and you just got to coach it up. The next one I'm going to show you is the sink and absorb. It's got some similarities to it. Okay, we still have the box at the same area. Okay, I've got my KOR guy standing here off to the side on his cone. I got my kickoff guy right here, but this is working the backside. Okay, the sink and absorb on the backside. So we'll put a little chute right here, and this is where this guy's trying to run. So his goal is to get here and run through the chute, okay? And this guy is replicating the backside, so it would be like a kick return running this way. He's angled in. When we hit the whistle, he's going to sprint, okay? And he's going to flip his hips, and he is going to start to sink. And he's going to maintain return side leverage with his hat over here. This guy's going to run down, okay? And we actually, the cones are going to be like this, so he can't just keep running this way. And he is in the fly zone here, so we don't two-gap here in this situation. The kickoff guy, as he's running down, he's avoiding with a dip and drive, okay, either front door or back door. So we'll either nod and back door, or we'll just go front door and stack with a U-turn, okay, at the end. But the bottom line is this is speed. There's a lot of time and space, so the kickoff guy is really trying to avoid contact, create almost be like just a grease lightning running down the field. Friction is not good for this guy. Friction is good for this guy. Okay, so we're going to get there. We're going to start to sink, okay, and we're going to absorb this guy and just keep sinking, okay, and remember, we're on the backside of KOR. So as we're coming down, we're sinking, we're sinking, we're sinking, we're sinking. Just keep sinking. Absorb this guy. Hopefully he tries to avoid you opposite the return. You'll open up your hip, running by, water off a roof, okay? If he tries to cross your face, okay, or you open up too much, okay, either way is not good. Opening the gate, if you open too much, the opposite way, he's going to cross your face, okay, and backdoor. If you don't ever get on the string, he's just simply going to take a direct angle, okay, to the kick return as well. So once again, we want to stay as square as we can, as long as we can. Don't give away the direction of the return and just continue to weave inside and maintain kick side leverage. Okay, so we're just continuing to sink, and hopefully he runs around this way and can't go through the chute. If he tries to cross your face, okay, once again, you stay square, try to get your left wrist through and cut him off. Okay, and so that's kind of worst case scenario. You're sinking, he tries to cross your face to get over to the return, and I'm going to restart my feet and try to get my left arm through, because a kick is actually going over here, much like a tackle would on the backside of inside zone or outside zone. Get your wrist through and cut this guy off. Make him go behind you. We don't ever want our face to get crossed on the backside of a kick return. So that is the sink and absorb drill, both highly competitive. That's called fly zone, and the first one was called strike zone. Guys, I'll open it up to any questions. If anybody has any questions at this point in regards to kick return technique.
Okay, so Pete Buckley, Coach Pete Buckley, we've got 10 guys in the watching this right now, asked the question, on strike zone, at what point do you release the returner?
Okay, good. All right, so on strike zone, what point do we release the returner? Let me put this up here again because it's critical, since I don't have video for you. Okay, so let me give you some yard lines here. So the ball carrier is on the 3-yard line. This is just how we've done it. Okay, this next cone is actually on the 8-yard line because there's 5 yards in between. Okay, so this is the KOR guy here. Okay, and there's the ball carrier. So there's 5 yards right here. Okay, and then this right here is another 5 yards. So from here to here is another 5 yards. Okay, the second that this kick return man sprints here and breaks this plane, okay, is when the ball carrier, okay, I said ball carrier here, this was wrong. Kickoff, this is the kickoff man. Okay, that's the kickoff man. Okay, there's the KOR man. The ball carrier is back here. The second that the KOR guy gets to the front of the box and flips his hips, okay, is when this ball carrier, and remember, I'm at 15 yards right here, okay, 15 yards, and you have to put a coach back here to tell him go. So the second this guy sprints, flips his hips, and starts to settle, that's when he takes off, okay? Now, once again, we will, after doing it at 15 yards, we'll shrink it down to 7.5 yards. So basically I cut him down and I move the ball carrier up here. And what that teaches the kickoff man is the second you get into this 2-gap, okay, as a kickoff man, like this ball carrier is going to be on you guys quicker. So you have to transition a power and snag release and almost eject yourself directly right and left. When we start with the ball carrier deeper, you'll find you have a lot more time and space, so you can get a lot more aggressive into that 2-gap and actually bull rush, okay, or bulldog that return blocker back into the ball carrier. So if you have more time and space, you can be more aggressive and keep gaining ground. If you don't have as much time and space, you need to transition to power and eject yourself left and right, okay? Much like a D lineman would be if he 2-gapped. Hopefully that answers your question. Does anybody else have any more KOR questions? Okay, getting on the string, ball me man relationship. And guys, talking about the string, I'm gonna just, like I said, you know, you can be in punt, okay, and let's just say that, you know, you're a shielded punt and you got the punter right here, and here's the launch point right here. Okay, ball's being punted from right here. You know, get on the string. Okay, maybe this guy's responsible, you know, for this guy. There's a guy right here. Maybe your left shield. Okay, boom, step inside, get on the string. Okay, you know, maybe you got this guy responsible for this guy. There's the string right there. He's got to get on the string. Okay, so offensive tackles have to get on the string. Okay, get in phase with the ball me man relationship. If you don't have leverage, leverage equals advantage. You have to gain leverage by getting on the string. Okay, I just think that terminology can carry over into a lot of different areas of football. Okay.
I got one question here.
All right.
This question's from Coach Charlie Feller. He sent in on email. I have a question about pooch kickoff return. Coach, we see a lot of pooch kickoffs on the numbers at the 25 to 30-yard line. I think we can get a return on this because we don't see a lot of height on these kicks. Do you have any returns you've worked or think or know a better way to handle them?
Okay, so that's a good question. He wanted to know basically on a sky kickoff, sky or a pooch kickoff, usually typically kicked across the field. Okay, so let's say that the ball is on the kickoff team's left hash. okay? And they're basically going to kick this football across, and let's just say that it hits about the 25-yard line, okay? So what do you do in that situation, okay? You got a couple different options, okay? In college football, you can fair catch it, okay? Some people just choose to fair catch it, and that's fine as well. What do you do if you want to return it, okay? Well, I think you have two options at this point. It depends what you do with your off returner. Okay, so let me go ahead and draw this up. Where are you going to align your off return? Okay, so here's my field right here. Okay, and let's go ahead and just, I'm going to draw just a simple like I just did. Okay, so here's my off returner and there's my primary return. Okay, and this look right here. Okay, and they're kicking the football from right here, and they're going to try to drop that thing over here. All right, so a couple different options you can have. As far as to the front side, okay, the first thing you need to do is you got to shorten your drops. So these guys right here have got to shorten their drops, okay, and they're going to block however you want to do it, okay. You got to get this guy involved as well, okay, but you really are only going to have 4 guys to the front side, maybe a 5th guy if he intends to catch the football. Okay, so you have to dictate, okay, if you're going to take care of the 4 widest guys running down the field with these 4 guys, and you have to practice this. Okay, you have to have a call for it. Some people yell cat, 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 stick out their arm, whatever it is. But these guys have got to be on the same page. Here's the other thing: is it's important that you teach all your guys on KOR to see the ball kicked. Okay, a deep middle kick is obviously a little bit different to get guys on the same page. But these short kick opposites are usually pretty good. Okay, so the first thing is shorten your drops here. Okay, that's the first thing. That's important because this thing could be fielded at the 25-yard line. Okay, your inside guy, some people call him a middle field guy, a hammer, whatever you want to call your middle up back here. He's got to come over and take care of his guy. Now, how do you want to rule this up? Okay, let me give you a way that a lot of people use, and I think it's pretty good. That this guy right here, anytime a ball, okay, and let's say you're putting your off returner at the 10-yard line, okay, this is very similar to a center fielder in baseball, okay, or a shortstop or wherever else on a pop fly. You got to have a communication system. Okay, so let me give you a communication system that I have used in the past. Okay, is this guy, first off, he's got to be a guy who can field these balls. So when you're building your kick return unit, okay, and if you're a right and left or a front and back or however you field their boundary, this guy opposite of where the ball is placed is going to field 90%. Okay, do some people go near hash? Yes, it's not as common, okay, to go like left hash, sky left or pooch left. Some people do it, okay, but these guys do it more often because teams, when they kick across the field, they increase the hang time. Okay, and when the hang time increases, because, you know, as a crow flies, for all you math guys, Pythagorean theorem, right, of a triangle. Okay, this is a further distance than this is kicking all the way across the field. It adds, you know, about 5 yards of hang time to it. Okay, so if they have good hang time, you potentially, you know, could have to make a fair catch. If it's not great hang time, okay, but let me get back to the communication here. What I've used in the past, okay, is this guy here, my left end or my left up back, is going to catch every ball in his vicinity. Okay, some people tell those guys to not back up. In the past, I have allowed that guy to back up a little bit, but I just simply tell him, you are catching it until you're called off by this guy. That way there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, if he yells me, he's calling you off and you are going and blocking. Okay, most dangerous man. If he does not call you off, he is going to run up and block most dangerous man. But you are catching it as that left end or that up back until you are called off. Okay? Because sometimes when you tell those guys don't back up and don't do this, don't do that, well, they weren't planning on backing up, but it drifted just a little bit more. Now he does back up, and the next thing you know, the off returner just hits you in the back. So I have had this guy in the past go ahead and catch everything around him that he can, unless he's called off by this guy. Okay, that keeps it pretty black and white. What does your primary returner do? Okay, he is sprinting over here, and he is anything that is bleeding from the backside. because all of these guys become your sink and absorb guys, right? They become the backside guys, and these all become what? Settle and strike guys. Okay, so shorten up your drop, settle and strike, stay as square as you can as long as you can. Okay, get your fourth guy involved, block 7 through 10, okay, and communicate it. He's catching it until he calls him off. Okay, that's worked pretty good for me. If it's kicked a little bit deeper, he calls him off, and I'll be honest, I've had a lot of really good returns. Okay, handled this way. Typically because a lot of the time the kickoff teams, these are their faster guys back over here to the field. They're not used to handling and defeating settle and strike blocks. They're the fly zone guys. They're the fast guys trying to come all the way here. So when they change it up and they keep those guys over here, then it's pretty simple. Now, if they flip their entire kickoff to do it, well, you need to flip your entire return if you personnel it that way. So if they put their big meatheads over here, okay, and that's an indicator that they're about to do a kick across the field, you need to flip all yours as well. So you got big bodies matched on big bodies. That's really critical. Okay. And there's usually somebody that tells a story there. All right.
I've got another question here. Coach wanted to ask in the chat, how do you coach a frontline double team? And on the flip side, how do you teach your kickoff team to beat a double team without losing their lane? And do you drill it?
Okay. All right. So first, let's talk about the double team. There's two types of double teams. Okay. So there's people that are going to say a post and pin. Okay. That's one form. And then you have a capture. Okay. Or some people will call this a cage. Okay. So a capture cage double team or a post and pin. Okay. So the first thing is, let's just say here's the kickoff guy running down. A post and pin would be potentially like this is your guard and this would be like your right tackle. Okay. We're kicking the ball here. Okay. And say we're let's just say this guy's the 4. Okay. So the post and pin technique is this guy is going to come down, and remember, he's getting on the string. He's going to treat this like he's single blocking the guy. Okay. So he's going to come down. He's going to work like he's single blocking him. He's going to get on the string and he's going to settle and strike. This guy is coming over. Okay. And he is going to be the pin guy. Now, the reason that some people like to use post and pin versus the one I'll show you next is to the 4 here. A lot of the times it's not going to present itself like a double team. Okay. This guy shows up late. So he thinks he's running down and simply trying to beat the single block right here. And this guy shows up, okay, and basically pins him inside and creates a sidewall, okay, and basically traps him, okay. As this guy tries to avoid outside, he shows up. So that's a post and pin technique, and you absolutely have to drill this stuff, okay. Now, let me show you the capture or the cage technique, okay. And what's different about this is this will present itself like a double team a little bit sooner, okay. But pros and cons to it, okay. So this time, these guys are going to work back. They're going to settle, okay, and they're going to basically square up on this guy with a little bit of space in between because you want to entice. That's why I called it capture, okay. With the cage is if you're too tight together too early, this guy on a alley or boundary return is simply going to avoid and stack, okay, if you're too close together. So we want to leave, and I'm talking a little bit of room, guys. I'm talking like a foot to a foot and a half. And then right as he's coming in, you're trying to invite the split. And then when he comes down to try to split you, you guys capture him and put him in the cage. Okay, but you are establishing yourself as he's running down. It's easy for him to recognize because you guys are shoulder to shoulder in this situation. Okay, and then you just have to work, if he tries to avoid outside, he's got to work here. Now, on the double team, this is pretty critical that what I've done in the past is if they have a folder from the backside or potentially the kicker coming, okay, if this guy avoids outside, I would let the tackle stay on him, and this guard or center, whoever's doubling with you, would work up and take whoever is coming from the backside. We never want to allow them, okay, to take up 2 for 1, okay, unless we have captured him here and we want to hold the point. So if he avoids outside, the widest is going to take him, okay, and run with him and just keep running him to the sideline, and this guy's going to come off and get his eyes back inside. So how do we drill defeating it? Okay, critical as well. You do have to drill it. and you got to show him both types. So here he is running down, okay? We give him a double team. If there's enough air in between, if it's a poor double team, okay, we simply are going to split it. We're going to dip and drive. We're going to get skinny. We're going to reduce surface area. We're going to split the double team, okay? And I got clips upon clips upon clips at football of every level of guys doing a great job splitting the double team. They just never come together. And I'm talking about the capture and cage technique right here. Okay, the capture and cage, they don't ever come together. Okay, you're in the fly zone, you can split it. Okay, the post and pin is a little bit different. Okay, so he's coming down and he's working settle and strike. This guy's coming over. Okay, on this one, okay, we would attack this man right here. So if they're a post and pin team, attack them, keep this guy outside, and then work that same split right there. Okay, work that same split. We want to keep this guy a little bit wider, boom, and we want to split it back up inside. Okay, now another thing, what do you do on that first one if they come together? Okay, so they come together and it's basically a wall. These guys are shoulder to shoulder and you're running down. This is really, really critical here. And most people do this on these gap scheme, boundary, trap, alley returns, whatever you want to call them. We are going to avoid outside, okay, and stack. And this is critical. You cannot avoid inside. You cannot avoid inside. Why? Because you will become a landmine, okay, a landmine. Because remember, what are all these guys doing on your kickoff team over here? Okay, they're coming back across the field. If you avoid this way, you will cut all of them off, okay, and you will landmine all these guys. And so your pursuit is not there. We want to be like a Mike linebacker defeating a double. They're doubling a three technique because all you're doing is running power over here. What do you tell a Mike linebacker when he's got a three technique in front of him getting doubled? Okay, he's going to eat up the double, and that Mike's going to get over the top, right? You would never tell your Mike linebacker to run to the weak side on power and then, cut off the will, okay, and cut off the free safety, okay? So we're going to get over the top play side, okay, if this double team's really good and stack it. You need to think of all these gap schemes is no different than defeating power. And then typically you'd have what? Some spillers coming off the side, okay, to the kickout blocks, just like you would do to defeat power. Okay, that's how it hits my brain. Hopefully that answered your question. I only have a couple minutes left. Are there any other questions regarding kickoff, kick return? Coach, did I answer them all right there?
Yep, that was it right there.
Okay, guys, I appreciate you guys spending time with us, and just if you got any questions, I know down the road here, once we get past this COVID cloud, we'll have a lot more availability to you guys. But look forward to seeing you guys once all this stuff lifts and the dead periods and everything else. Thanks again. Appreciate you tuning in.